What's up, YouTube? It's the Action Figure Grader coming back to you with another video. I decided to spend a few hours on eBay, and I looked only at closed listings, and all I typed in was Star Wars. I just wanted to see some of the crazy items that have sold over the last few months, and I picked out a pretty nice smattering of items. And all of these are pretty expensive, admittedly. The last time I did kind of one of these wacky eBay sales videos, I tried to go across a wide spectrum. But for this one, I wanted to think about what's the most shocking prices I've seen for non-action figures. The closest I get to action figures in this video are like a Funko Pop and Legos. Okay, that's as far as I go with it. The rest of this stuff is not action figure related, and I was just completely surprised by a lot of these. Some of these I kind of knew they were expensive, especially the Legos and Funko Pops, but some of this stuff I'd never even seen before, much less see the kind of prices they sell for. So I tried to also, when possible, pick out items where there's multiples of that same item that have sold, because you never know if some of these eBay sales are legitimate or not. But if you see it in this video, I'm pretty confident that it's a legitimate sale because I found multiple items of them. Not for all of them, but I'm pretty sure that most of these are legit. So the first one we're going to start off with is a life-size Star Wars Darth Vader with lightsaber, a one-in-one ratio. So here's what it looks like. This is like the kind of thing that you would see at Rancho Obi-Wan. Pretty cool. It's got like a Death Star kind of floor grading going on there. Pretty epic item. Where people store this stuff, do you realize how quickly I would be a dead man if I tried to bring one of these things home? It's if you watch the movie Pulp Fiction, there's the Bonnie situation. There's no trial separation. There's no divorce. I would just be dead. I would be dead, all right? I'm sure I'm mingling that scene, but that gives you the idea of what would happen if I tried to bring home like this. I mean, look at that Hulk. How awesome is that? Can you imagine my wife walked into my collection room and see this like 8-foot Hulk sitting in there? Much less this Vader. But anyway, it's really cool, but $10,000 is not something that I'd be spending. It's pretty awesome, though. All right, as scary as that Vader is, I would say that this Darth Nihilus is even more frightening. My kids would have nightmares for weeks if I brought one of these homes. Look at the face on that thing. Really nice details to it. It's a 1/4 ratio scale, but I don't think that my wife would welcome this in the house either, even if it is something that's probably I could hide it a little bit easier than the life-size Darth Vader. But that Darth Nihilus statue is pretty terrifying looking. And I didn't even tell you the price. That one sold for $1,636 plus $285 shipping. So I'm sure that, and look, this is not, all of these items, I'm not criticizing the buyers for it. The thumbnail for this video was really kind of tongue-in-cheek when I said that they must be on some drugs or something when they bought these things. I'm sure that there's a very active community that collects statues and all that kind of stuff. I've seen some pretty amazing photos on Instagram and things like that. But it's just not for me. I can't see myself spending $1,600 on this terrifying statue. But somebody, was obviously is either not married or has a much cooler wife than my wife, because my wife would kill me if I brought that home. This is another one that was insane. This is an actual Star Wars arcade game. It's called the Star Wars Battle Pod. So this is the kind of thing where you get inside of it and the whole thing gyrates and kind of rotates around. I've actually been in this one before, and it is a really fun game to play. I went to Dave & Buster's one time, and I was like, what is this? And they had all kinds of amazing games that you could kind of, ride the speeder bikes, and you had like the Battle of Hoth scene and everything. It's pretty incredible, I'm not going to lie. But is it $25,000 incredible? And the answer is no. But apparently they had two of these things, and one of them did sell. One of them did sell for $24,689. And let me tell you, I have been in this, and you can see up here, you got the battle of the first Death Star. You've got the speeder bike race scene. You've got another one with the Millennium Falcon. You got the Battle of Hoth, and I don't know what the last one is. I assume that that's probably related to Death Star Part 2. But whatever your fancy, if you've got the space for it and you got the kind of budget for something like this, it is a really fun game. I would recommend just going to Dave & Buster's and playing it there. It's a lot cheaper to do it that way. But it is fun. I tried every one of those games one day, and I probably dropped about $30 in it. It was really fun. Here is one that this is as close as I would get to an item that would be in my collection because it's a graded comic book, but there's no way that this one will ever be in my collection. But I wanted to point it out because it's extremely rare. This is Star Wars Galaxy's Edge #1, and this is the concept art edition. This was given out, this comic book was given out to employees that worked at Galaxy's Edge. So it is a very, very limited number of comics that were made for this. So if you were an employee or if you were an engineer that helped design the whole Galaxy's Edge kind of layout at Disney, you were given this comic book. So it's extremely, extremely rare. This one sold for $4,399. It's graded 9.8 by CGC. Yeah, as of this listing, there are only 6 of this comic graded 9.8. This was given to Imagineers during Galaxy's Edge construction and opening. So again, these were like employees or like the engineers and people that helped build it and help design it. So very, very rare item. And, if you've got the budget for it and you're a super high-end collector of Star Wars comics, that is one to look for because you're not going to get any more rare than that one, I don't think. Here's another really cool comic, and I promise that I think these are the only 2 comics that I wanted to show, but this one was cool because it's only a 5.0, but as you see on the label, it says from the personal collection of Carrie Fisher. And I remember when this one sold and a number of others, but this was Shadows of the Empire, and it was in Carrie Fisher's collection, believe it or not. So who knew that Carrie Fisher had a comic book collection? But if it's labeled like this, then that means it's a pedigree kind of edition, and they were able to track the ownership back all the way to Carrie Fisher until her passing. And like I said, it's only a 5.0, but when you have something that is from the personal collection of somebody like Stan Lee or any kind of like big artist within the comic book world, or in this case, an actor, it's going to be worth big money. This one sold for $3,500 and a 5.0 grade. Now, as a reference point, I have a 9.8 grade of this exact same comic, and I paid less than $200 for it. So you can see that there's a lot of cash and a lot of kind of reputation associated with owning a comic that is from the personal collection of a well-known artist or actor like Carrie Fisher. So I just thought it was kind of cool, cool thing to share. This thing is completely insane. And this is a custom water-cooled gaming PC. So as you can see, this is like a see-through gaming PC that somebody designed with a bounty hunter kind of artwork on the side. It's got all this red, I assume, dyed water. It's got another Darth Vader label down below, but basically this is like a gaming rig for like playing video games on a personal computer. And someone designed this completely insane, water-cooled system, and it's got a Star Wars theme to it. That sold for $4,000. $4,000 plus another $120 shipping. So I just thought it was such a crazy design to it that I had to share it. And you can see there it's got kind of the Empire logo there, as well as all kinds of just really weird knickknacks and computer type stuff. I am the last person to ask anything about computer design, but I just thought it was really, really cool and really expensive. This is another one that was really surprising. This is a vintage 1990s skateboard deck that has Yoda on it, and it was signed by Rodney Mullen, who I guess was maybe an artist that designed a lot of these skateboard decks. So he autographed this board. It was lightly used. It's got Yoda on the skateboard deck. That sold for $4,000, best offer accepted. So I don't know anything about Rodney Mullen, but apparently he's really big in the skate scene. You can see where he autographed it here. Pretty cool skate deck. But I tried skateboarding one time, and I did a really awesome maneuver that should be featured in the next X Games. It's called the 360 fall down and kill yourself. I was picking gravel out of my head for the next month and a half. So that was the first and last time I ever got on a skateboard. So I would not recommend it, especially at my age of 45. This is not going to happen again. Here was another really cool item. This was a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back soundtrack, autographed by the full cast. It looks like James Earl Jones, Dave Prowse, Peter Mayhew, Harrison Ford, Billy D. Williams, Carrie Fisher. So it's got all the big names. Frank Oz even. Pretty cool item. Kenny Baker even signed it. That one sold for $3,500, $3,500 for the Empire Strikes Back soundtrack, autographed by a number of different famous actors and people who were involved in the making of the Empire Strikes Back. This is another one that was crazy. This was a Lego Star Wars minifigures lot. It was a lot of 125 Phase 2 clone troopers. So this is someone who's just hoarded these Lego clone troopers, and it sold for $3,233. So 125 Lego minifigures for $3,200, 29 bids plus $50 shipping. Just complete insanity. Somebody really loves those clone troopers. And this is one that I feature on the thumbnail, and I've talked about it in the past, but this is what we call Meth Yoda. He's got the New York I love, New York I love, New York I love Lego kind of sweatshirt on, and apparently this was only sold at Toys R Us on Times Square, so it's very, very rare. I'm not trying to say it's not rare, okay? But $1,524. Take home this Yoda. And there's no way I'd buy that, but I love the eyes. I love the eyes. Way too much caffeine, just like me. But that's what it goes for now, apparently. Here's another one that one sold for $2,000. So the New York I love, Toys R Us Times Square Yoda Lego figure goes for $1,500 to $2,000 now. This is another one. These are blankets. Pendleton blankets. It's a blanket 4-pack. These are limited edition, only made in 1977, so they're extremely rare and vintage, obviously. That's what they look like. Looks like they've never been touched. Still got the tags on them. Those sold for $2,700, and this is not an exception. I found multiple of these Pendleton blanket 4-packs from Star Wars. This is not 1977 because it's got Yoda on the silhouette there. This one's got Kylo Ren on it. So these are fairly modern, but I don't know what I don't know what this is the name of them. You can see the Return of the Jedi, and they're numbered. So there's 1977 blanket sets that were made. That's why it's so rare. That being said, they are modern, clearly, because they've got Yoda on there, and they've got Kylo Ren. So really cool looking blankets. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not spending $2,700 on them. And I saw multiple sales for these blankets, anywhere from about $2,200 all the way up to $3,000 for those blankets. So somebody really loves their blankets and wants to stay warm very expensively. Here's a Funko Pop. This was an SDCC exclusive. This is the Boba Fett with the droids Art Deco. Very rare. Apparently only 480 of these were made. This one sold for $2,700 on 20 bids. We just got that one in the vintage collection. Obviously, I think I'd rather pay the $100 plus on the resale market for that than this one. But those Funko collectors, they are a serious lot, and they are very serious about their Funkos. This one was crazy. This definitely is vintage. So these are like decoder discs that were packed in to Kellogg's Corn Flakes for the Return of the Jedi. And somebody collected all these. They're still sealed. You can see them all. It's got Salacious Crumb there. It's got Luke Skywalker at Jabba's palace. A number of different decoder rings. It's got Squid Head. Pretty cool to see. Plus a box fat. You get fat if you eat cornflakes. Let me tell you that. One time I ate cornflakes and I stepped on the scale the next day, and I was like, I'm not going to be doing that again. It's pure sugar. Don't put cornflakes in your body. It's not healthy. This sold for $2,489 and change, by the way, plus $39 shipping for these decoder rings. When I think of decoder, I think of like the Christmas Story Ovaltine decoder rings that he got from Little Orphan Annie. So that's what I think of when I think of decoders. But I'll pass on those. But someone was willing to pay those. Now this one is another one that I'm like, I did not know that there is a ballpoint pen community that's willing to pay for these. But this is like a ballpoint pen that you can assemble into an X-Wing, a Star Wars X-Wing. And here's what it looks like in the case. This was never assembled, but I did find a few that were already assembled and had been used before that sold for almost this much money. They've been selling for anywhere from $1,800 to about $2,500. And you can see it's got all kinds of little decorations and things like that to take a simple ballpoint pen and convert it into a X-Wing. So it's crazy. I had no idea that these kind of things were that popular, but this is an ST Dumont streamlined Star Wars X-Wing Palladium ballpoint. This looks like the kind of thing that would be highly desired by a bad guy in a Star Wars, in a James Bond film. Like, there's always like a briefcase with like nuclear warheads or like some kind of like you know, bioterror item. This is what it looks like. It would be, you know, kind of when they open it up. So anyway, someone's willing to pay that kind of money for it. God bless you. Here was a knife. This was like a Mandalorian knife. This sold for $2,250. So, you know, apparently there's a really rare knife that has Mandalorian themes on it that sold for $2,250, and I found multiple ones of that one that have sold. This was a Kith Modernica chair, one of 155 made. It's got kind of a cool Star Wars decor on it. I don't know what's going on with that Yoda. I don't know if that's like supposed to be Yoda or what, but it's hideous. It also looks like it's got a prototype Boba Fett on there. Empire Strikes Back, a Return of the Jedi, and a Star Wars logo. One of 155 made. That sold for $2,100. Best offer accepted. My $55 chair from Office Max looks a lot more comfortable than this one, but apparently someone's willing to pay over $2,000 for that thing. This one is actually really cool. This was a Revenge of the Jedi 35mm film canister for the UK market. So it's got a UK teaser trailer for the Revenge of the Jedi. It's even labeled Revenge on the teaser kind of bin thing that holds the 35mm film in there. That is an awesome vintage item, in my opinion. That one sold for 1,395 Great British pounds, best offer accepted, plus another 118 US dollars shipping. So that's a nice, cool, rare piece of history for the Star Wars world when the Return of the Jedi was still called the Revenge of the Jedi before they switched it over to a less ominous name. So that is big money for a 35mm film. Another cool kind of item was a first edition deluxe limited print of a 1991 Heir to the Empire signed by Timothy Zahn. So it's unread and very cool. You can see there June 1991 first edition, and there's the signature from Timothy Zahn. That one sold for $1,795. So even though it's 1991, it's a first edition book and signed by the author. Wow, that's a big number for a fairly modern book, but that's what someone's willing to pay for it. Another cool item was a Empire Strikes Back movie script for the Empire Strikes Back, signed by Harrison Ford. $1,600 for a movie script signed by Han Solo. And then finally, this item, I had no idea this was that rare. But I found multiple items of this that sold. And I was like, what on earth is this ugly item? And this is a 2011 San Diego Comic-Con Hallmark Christmas ornament set of IG-88 and Dengar. And look how ugly these things are. I mean, these are hideous. Absolutely hideous. But apparently they were limited in number. This one sold for $1,525 on 29 bids. So there is definitely a Star Wars Christmas ornament collecting community that's willing to pay these. But here's the box for it. This was open, but, you know, kind of just taken out for the photos. But I mean, I found dozens of these that had sold all around this price point. So this is not an exception to the rule. But apparently these are very rare. Not anything that I would want. Even IG-88's head looks a little wonky there. And Dengar, Dengar looks like he's doing the disco dance from 1977 alongside John Travolta in Disco Fever. But other than that, it's really cool. It's really cool. Anyway, I just thought I'd share some really crazy items that I found on eBay. I'm really shocked by some of these prices, as I'm sure you are. Please give it a like. Please comment below with your thoughts on these. If you're new to the channel, I try to kind of mix it up occasionally with these kind of weird videos. So consider subscribing. And thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon.